Hello. Here we are. We're back again. Another episode of It Depends. And today we're going to get a little bit compliance on you. As usual, the crew is here. Say hi, crew. Hi.
Hello.
Moraine didn't make his entrance. Come on, Moraine, make your entrance. Here we go. We need to see the entrance that you did earlier. All right.
No,
there you go. Your entrance. No, you're on full screen now, mate. Here you go.
It didn't work. You can't put me on the spot like that. It doesn't work like that.
Actually, he can. So.
It will happen. It will happen.
All right, guys, go on and give everybody a 15-second hi and tell them how you're feeling today. How's that one? So, Kaz, you're ill again.
Again, I know. But I'm recovering this time, so it's much better. Thank you.
That's better. That's good. And you have been traveling?
Yes, straight from the airport to the apartment B&B in beautiful Milan, Italy. So
nice. And that's just today being Monday. Last week, you were in Nashville.
I was in Nashville and Miami. Yeah, I was traveling.
Nice. I was in Brussels and Antwerp.
I feel so sorry for you.
All right, all part of the fun. Okay, Moraine, go on, tell us about the silly hat.
Oh, last few episodes I was wearing a hat, so I was gonna wear a hat today as well.
This is your It Depends thing, is it?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, but this one has a commercial on it, and I do not want to make like a little commercial on this show as well. So that's why I'm
commercial what? Commercial what? No, I'm such a brand whore sometimes. I have like
You're a brand what?
Nothing. Cut it out.
For me, Marie.
Lovely. And Anouk.
Docus quack at the moment.
Exactly.
All right.
Which is a reference that only Dutch people and Belgian people will get, but that's fine.
Search it.
Right. Don't. Well, there's only 6 people listening to us. Actually, we're doing all right. This will be the episode 4. So by now we'll have about 60 people that will have seen us doing this stuff. Well, actually, I don't know how to get it out, but they watch 5 seconds of it, and then for some reason they all seem to turn off. So, yeah, we'll get there. Of course, we'll get there. All righty. So this is It Depends, and it is a quiz show around Microsoft 365 governance. We come up with a question, and then our beautiful contestants all give a reason why they think their interpretation of governance is right. We give them a mark, and we collect the scores. And then, as usual, Moraine comes last.
As usual.
And Kaz is still trying to find a power socket for her phone.
Yes, for my laptop. It's not for my phone. It's to
record the laptop. So, you know. All right, cool. Well, no, you carry on doing that. That's all right. And we will look at tonight's question. Here it is. So, how will you create and manage Microsoft 365 groups and teams?
It is the $1 million question, right?
No,
we can solve this.
It is the $5 million question.
If we can solve this, I mean,
we'd be smart.
Yes,
dead smart. Looking around, I think we'll have a lot of fun, and let's see whether we can come up with an answer or two. All righty. So, as always, we circulated the answers out before, and they selected the one that needed to be done. And as always, nobody really responded, so we're doing the consultant thing and ad-libbing on some of the responses and questions. None of it is fixed. You haven't seen any of the questions or answers before, have you guys?
Nope.
You little liars. All right, but you're very good little liars, so that's okay. That's fun. All right.
That's how we make a living. Of course I've done this before. Of course.
It's going to be one of those nights. I can just see it. All right, good. So Moraine is first because he's got the magic hat on. And what will happen is he will have 2.5 minutes to talk about the subject, and then Anouk and Kaz will mark him on it to basically think about whether he can speak coherently, whether the wine got in the way, whether he knows what he's talking about, and whether it was smart. Who knows? We'll see.
Coherent.
Look at it, and then there'll be a bonus
It's
question.
already strange that he is drinking wine instead of whiskey.
Yeah, it is a bit, but that's fine. We'll see how it goes. All right, so
I don't want to mix our two brands of. It depends on the Distilled podcast.
All right, good.
Hashtag
good.
Microsoft 365 Distilled podcast.
Which podcast?
Microsoft 365 Distilled podcast.
Isn't it Fusion Talk?
Fusion Talk.
Nah, never.
I'm staying out of this argument.
All right.
And that's why I
Anyway.
drink Prosecco, because I don't have a podcast. So that's
Not yet. People will be calling soon. All right, I'm going to let the ladies go because it's Moraine. So bye, ladies, for now. There's one and there's two. And here you go, brother. So the clock. Oh, no, I need you to put your question up first. There we go. So there is your response to the question of how will you create and manage Microsoft 365 groups and teams. And your clock is starting now.
Awesome. So, in your organization, you're turning on Teams, you're turning on SharePoint. Everybody can just create all kinds of stuff. That will definitely go very wrong very soon. Because if everyone just can create things, they will just start creating no matter what. They will never clean it up. They will always have good intentions. It's the same as with everyone, and I'm looking at you, dear viewer, listener, watcher thing. You will have at least one piece of gym equipment that you once bought and that you never use, and it is laying around in your house. I know it is. That easy. Good intentions, you never come around to do it. So, how do we fix this? It's very easy. You tell everyone what you expect from them when they request a new team or a new site. Hey, I need we're doing a new project. We need a place to collaborate. Sure, that's fine. Who's going to own that? Who will make sure that new people will be added? Who will make sure that people don't spend any weird or don't put any weird things on there? Make sure that everyone knows what is expected from them. If you're just there to read, that's fine. If you're there to contribute, that's fine. If you want to own this thing, that's fine. Who will be able to create channels? Who will be able to create folders? What do you want to do with tabs? So make sure that everybody knows what they need to do, what they can do, so the playing field, and what to do in case something goes wrong. Who can they contact? Things like that. So it's just very, 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 that's like the number one thing that you need to do is you need to educate your users on what can I do, what must I do. Group ownership, responsibilities. You are going to own this. We as IT are not going to own your project thingy. You need to do that, and we're going to tell you how, so you can be the best owner that you want to be. Peace.
Oh, right on the edge there. That was pretty cool. Well done, my friend. I heard all of it, of course. I didn't sneak off at all and get a drink. So that was cool. Let's bring back the rest of the crew. There we go. Hey, did you miss us, ladies?
Like Sunday morning.
Like Sunday morning. Are the questions too hard? I'm just wondering. No? Oh, well, maybe they're still muted. All right. Kaz has got an excuse because she's not feeling very well. Anouk, No reason not to answer a question.
I was muted. Sorry for that. So my
We're
answer
having some
was
fun
no,
tonight.
we didn't miss you at all.
Good. So there was Moraine's view on educating users on group ownership and responsibilities. So ladies in the private chat, by all means, give your thoughts on whether Moraine did a good job explaining that, hey, for managing,
that was
managing groups.
At least a 10 out of 10.
Yes. You're looking to try and break your duck for losing every episode so far, aren't you? Maybe the hat is not as lucky as
didn't I win last time?
Actually,
No.
you did. No, not yet.
No.
Nobody's seen that yet. Well, I suppose they would have done, but there you go. Technically, I'm not sure whether the last one worked very well. I haven't checked it out yet.
Maureen,
right, good.
Maureen only wins the ones that are not able to put online.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, let's get to the bonus question then. All right, so we have some scores, and there we have a bonus question. So, Moraine, tools and techniques that you can use to educate users. So I tell you what I'll do. I'll give you a chance to really, really get your points and win this episode. I'll give you a point for every tool or technique that you can think of that everybody else agrees is valid that will be used to educate users. So ladies, I'm sorry to call in ladies. So the rest of the contestants, give us a thumbs up if you think it's right. If you give them a thumbs down, I'm going to take a point away. All right. So, Moraine, off you go. Tools and techniques that you can use to educate users.
Okay. So we want this very practical, right? So webinars, blog posts.
Webinars,
pages.
yes. Blogs, no.
Sorry?
Webinars, yes. Blogs, no.
Okay.
That's a simple question.
Manual. And I'm not talking about the Italian guys. I mean a manual.
That's the Spanish guy, Manuel.
Oh, yes. Okay. Awareness sessions, coaching, classroom training, walks in nature.
No. No, that's not a bad idea, is it? So you can actually have an awareness message on the trees as you walk around the woods and the forest. You know, it could be good for nature, big 6-inch nails, big chunks of wood. You know,
that does give me a brilliant idea. I think that idea is pretty shit, but I think that gave me a really good idea. Virtual reality. You walk around in virtual reality and you see all these things that you can click on and interact with.
Yay! I think you should take the hat off. Well, I got 5 good items in there. Anybody want to add tools and techniques? I think the technique of the old ADCAR stuff, awareness is actually important.
I think one of the most underrated, I mean, I don't know if that falls into any category, but like user learning from other users. So like a peer sessions, I would say that's super. Yeah.
And you never said ambassadors.
Especially with Copilot and all that stuff. Like user to user is just not like it's the most important one in my opinion.
Yeah.
How do you encourage that though? So I don't disagree. I think it's very valid when somebody shows somebody else how to upload a document and they go, "Hey, how do you do that? Let me show you how to do that." But how do you encourage that?
I can only speak from like experience. So we had the pilot of Copilot internally, and that was a very interesting experience for me to interact with actually people from my organization, which not really happens very often to be in like adoption project or you know what I mean, and everybody was like super excited. We had our own private Teams chat, and there was like a certain requirement established by IT that you should start your feedback with the word feedback, colon, and then you provide your feedback and whatever. And then the rest of the people were like hopping onto that thread and replying and like, I don't know, hearting whatever was like useful for them or not. That was very interesting to see actually. So yeah, that's the recent example. I can share.
Interesting. You had naming
Cool.
conventions in your chat.
Yeah, you could say that.
We'll get onto that because there might be a surprise question about that later. Ooh, yeah. What I have seen, which worked very well, was tokens. So everybody was actually given a couple of tokens. It was tagged with the project name, and then when somebody gave them good advice, they basically got a token given away. And then at the end of the week, people were able to cash in their tokens, and you basically created a chart. And the winner got a prize, of course. So
that's actually a brilliant idea.
Of course it is. I think it. No, it wasn't there. So I was going to say it was yours, but it wasn't. So that's okay.
No.
I have that system with my 4-year-old daughter. I'm like, if you want to watch TV, you have to have a certain amount of token to cash them in to watch TV, and the tokens you get them by doing some things like, I don't know, cleaning up toys. So
that is so manipulative.
Oh, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. I'm going to use that.
You do not stand a chance of doing that with your daughter.
No, I'm talking about my girlfriend. I'm going to give her tokens. And if she wants to watch television, she better first do the dishes. Yes. I think that's going to work.
Moraine, you really should take the hat off. It's not doing you any favors at all.
Who
mate.
needs a marriage counselor anyway? Awesome. Yes. Brilliant.
What will it say on the tokens? You did well, dear. I mean, nobody would get offended by that, would they? A bonus. You know, what's really surprised me is that you kept that clean.
Barely.
All right.
Barely.
Good.
Anyway.
So that was Moraine scored. I'll pick up Moraine scores from the chat from basically Anouk and Kaz a little bit later. But yes,
Moraine, let us know how it worked out with girlfriend if you are going to do it.
Yeah, when you see me on Tinder, then you know that this didn't work out. Yeah.
Awesome tokens. But Kaz, do you seriously use tokens for your daughter to earn TV time?
Yes.
That's cool. And does she hate these tokens?
No, she loves them because they're like a fake money. So she's also like having fun of them with them. You know, she's having the coins and like papers and everything. I think it's a brilliant concept. Yeah.
They learn.
Does she have like a little purse to put them in?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, nice. She does.
Nice.
So did you have tokens specially made, or do you just write down?
No, it was an accident because she got some like a fake money from her nana. And then I was like reading, sometimes when I have time, I'm like reading this parenting stuff and whatever. So I was like, oh, I can use that. And it just like popped in my head. And that's how it kind of started.
So in actual fact, we could set up a black market with your daughter and actually say, hey, we've got some coins that will get you watching television.
Let's not go there yet. She's 4, just to remind you.
Neat. All right. Okay, good. So there you go. So there was Moraine talking about group ownership and responsibilities as a way of creating and managing Microsoft 365 groups and teams. So it is Anouk's time. Do you want to see your question?
Yes.
You need to look surprised. Pretend you've never seen it ever before. Okay, here you go.
I haven't.
Yes. All right. That's good. Never try and be an actress. It won't work. Cool. No. So just to remind everybody of the question. So how will you create and manage Microsoft 365 groups and teams? We have a number of items. They're all governance kind of items. So we give chance for you to hear from some great experts. And next week we will have some great experts. But today we actually have Kaz, Anouk, and Moraine. That's all I could find at short notice. And they will then give you your answer. And I know you do this for fun. I'm sorry. Yes. I've got some little money tokens, Kaz, and if you earn enough of them, then you can actually have a glass of wine.
And who will be your
considering? Yeah, I'm considering dropping right now. So like tread very, very slowly. Okay.
You could just.
Oh, my battery died. Oh.
Yeah, there was no power in my Airbnb or my apartment. Those tokens you can reclaim them when we go to Poland, because all of us are speaking at Colab Days in Poland, or we're all around there doing some stuff. So if you want to catch us, we'll be there. But on the Friday night, we might be cashing in all of our tokens for a few drinks, and Kaz will be claiming a few from me and saying, I remember
so
that.
You are going to buy the drinks then?
Yes, Moraine, you are, aren't you? All right, good. Okay, so here we go, Anouk. So let's say goodbye to everybody else. So bye, Kaz. Bye, Moraine. Neat. And we'll swap over to our video. Doo-doo. There you go. Reset the video. Yeah. Boom. So there's a question. Define group lifecycle policies, Anouk, and your time starts now.
Defining group lifecycle policies is making teamwork easier and being more productive, because everyone knows why the team is there, and why did you reset the video again? Okay, doesn't matter. So you can keep up the things clearly when you set it up. Everyone knows why the team is there, who is in the team, and who can work on the team and get access to it if they want to. If you are having public teams, of course. It's also a way of keeping your information safe and following the rules of your company. So when somebody is setting up that only some people can read, you can do it clearly in the lifecycle policy of a team or a group. It can be there as well. You will be using your resources wisely. So you don't waste any stuff of resources. You don't throw away things that still needs to be there, or you don't use too much space if you don't need it. And it's also easier for cleaning up things afterwards. You also make things easier for everyone, because everyone knows how to find a group or a team, or is able to get in contact with a group or a team. And it's interesting. It's more interesting for people. But maybe the most of all of the things for me to do it is automating some of the boring stuff. We all know how to create a team. We all know how we need to do it. And if you do a policy or a life cycle about it, you can automate things like when something needs to be removed, or how you need to create it, or which life cycle needs to be there. So it will be much more fun for your IT department to keep ahead of this. So actually, this is all what I can tell about it.
Oh, well, all part of the fun. That's good. All right. So defining group lifecycle policies. I think that everybody else will give you some scores and stuff. Just something you kind of missed. So what kind of policies might you create around these groups?
A policy about how long do you need to keep it, when to remove it, who is able to access it, those kind of things.
All right, cool. Because that kind of leads on to some of the bonus questions. But so, guys, drop in some marks for Anouk's presentation, and bear in mind she does have a genuine Van Gogh in the background there that was actually hand painted or hand built.
It's Lego.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Lego, which is good. Anyway, so all the cool stuff, and your bonus question then. So if we look at all of the different policies that you can have, obviously part of the those policies for those groups is the expiration policy. And so what is the default soft deletion period? And we'll explain what that is a little bit later, or you can explain what that is and tell us what the time is. How long is that period of time?
When you delete a group, it's still available in the recycle bin for the next 30 days. So the soft deletion period is 30 days, and then you can restore it. but you can say there will be a deletion period after 180 days when after the group is created. It's something you can say upfront if you want to.
So it's a little bit like the OneDrive expiration and one or two other kind of expiration process. It's configurable based upon what you want to do within your organization. So that kind of makes sense. That's good news. Has anybody ever set a kind of expiration period on Microsoft 365 groups? Tend to just use out of the box. Has anybody ever created an expiration policy on a Microsoft 365 group?
I've built automation around it.
Sorry.
Go on, Marian.
No. I didn't actually hear. I didn't come across what Kaz. So you said again?
No, I just said I built many automations around it. So, based on the nature of my work, I don't necessarily use the native environment for it, but I built a lot of automation for it and then put some rules and workflows in place as well.
Yeah. There are protections, of course. So if you've got content that's got retention policies and that kind of stuff on there, then if nobody logs into that group, say you have an expiration policy of 365 days, then after 365 days, if nobody is logged into that site, then the group will get deleted. But if there is any content, then that will get archived accordingly based on what your retention policy is.
I also built an automation that was basically taking, so if the owner was gone, then the others were voting whether it should be archived or not. Like that was an interesting kind of way to approach it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you not think users would say, no, just let's keep it just in case?
Yeah, some people would just do it, but then you just need to have that conversation and kind of decide whether is that the case or not.
Yeah, I set a bunch of team sites up that I'd forgot all about a year ago, and these last few days they've all been popping up saying, hey, it's about to expire because I'm still the owner on those sites. So I do get chance to log in and make sure that they don't disappear. And it's a very simple process, but yeah, expiration is one. Anything else then around Microsoft 365 groups, around policies associated with them that our viewers would love to hear? No? All right.
No, but I would say if you have any questions, put them in comments. What?
Yeah. Because we will look at those comments all the time. Yeah. Oh, Marian's lost it.
Marian, come on. I'm marketing. I had to do it. Come on. Like,
That's proper YouTube behavior. That is awesome.
You're welcome.
Loki.
God,
I don't know how I will answer my question. I'm just like cracking up.
It's going to be a killer. So much fun. Well, I'm glad you're awake, Kaz, because it's your turn.
I'm more than awake.
I'm sure you are. Let's just get this the right way around. So there we go. All right. So just to remind everybody, this is the question that we're responding to. And we're going to kind of remove our contestants that have already been. Hey, just you and me. How you doing?
On a question and an answer that we disagree.
Yeah, that's true. We have been known to be on those. I love that classic podcast we did, ESPC, when we did the core view stuff, and you and I were arguing online trying to work out who was doing what. It was really very cool, actually. Listening back to it's cool. If you haven't caught them, Office 365 Distilled or Microsoft
365 Distilled.
Yeah, I do both because I know both URLs will actually reach it. And look for the Core View series. It was recorded at the end of last year. And try and catch the one where Kaz and I are having a disagreement about Teams and security. It's pretty cool. It was pretty cool. All righty. So there's the question. How will you create and manage Microsoft 365 groups and teams? And of course, you suggested these questions, or you actually chose the questions for tonight, which is cool. And that basically means that you get to answer your choice, which was establishing naming conventions for consistency. All righty. Let me just try and be professional this time and reset the video before I switch to it. First time ever. Look, it's even there all ready to rock and roll. All right, your 2.5 minutes, Kaz, starts now.
Okay. So yes, I've selected this answer because I feel, and Stevie can explain later on why you disagree. I feel like this is highly underrated, let's say, part of establishing a good governance policies for teams or groups or whatever. I think naming conventions are so easy kind of to implement. Like you don't have to spend many months per year doing that, if not hours. But they bring enormous amount of clarity to the digital workspace. I think that we are starting to become like digital hoarders. And it's like whenever you walk into a house that you're trying to declutter, or even a brand new house that you have a vision how it should live, you want to have these kind of like naming conventions for things, labels on my containers and stuff like that. It really helps create a livable environment. And I'm talking about the digital livable environment here. But also, it is a predecessor for any other stuff that we're going to do later. So any type of automation, administration regarding groups or teams and whatnot. This is going to be so much easier if we have these naming conventions already in place. You can simplify those governance tasks by having that consistency in the first place. Security and compliance, you can very easily flag immediately, pretty much, which groups are more sensitive than other, include sensitive information or files and whatnot. But also, there is a level of easing up to that facilitating user education, which Maren was talking about. So I feel like educating users is going to be much easier when we explain to them what is the rationale behind these naming conventions and how it can affect their daily work. So like if somebody, for example, from marketing is going to be like, you explain to them, search for marketing or like abbreviation of the department and X, and it's going to save you so much time trying to sift through 10,000 different groups. I think that's going to be much more appealing to them to also want to learn things. And the same goes for lifecycle management. So I already mentioned automation and administration. Lifecycle management would be so much easier if you have that initial setup of naming conventions in place in the first time. So basically, that's my speech.
That's your pitch and stitch.
Speech. Yeah.
That was actually cool. Don't tell anybody, but I actually just give you
I'm very passionate about this. So
I know you are. And I'm at the other end of the scale on this stuff. So it's not something that I've used it several times, and users hate it. It's very interesting. They go, no, I don't want it to be called blah 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 at the beginning. I want it to be. So it is actually one of those things that you got to work with the business to kind of get it right. I think suffix is easier than prefix. Yeah. Because most people want to say, hey, this is my project X site.
I mean, yeah, it really depends. So I would advise to have this kind of like a like I want to call them like focus group nearly, like people from business, and like sit with them and see their recommendations or how they envision things and kind of like try to bring it together. So whether it's prefix, suffix, or plugged words or whatever, just try to make it simple, but try to also listen to business. So
yeah. Guys, so there we go. Put your marks into the chat for Kaz's presentation. Don't get biased by anything that I might have said by a long way, but actually I thought it was pretty cool. I think that we should probably throw in the bonus question here, and there it is. So around consistency of names, then, how can you configure consistency? What capabilities do you have to say, hey, all of the M365 groups or teams is usually the way this comes forward is controlled by the following. So how can you configure consistency in the naming conventions?
Yeah, so I don't know if that answers your question, that's what you're looking for, Steve, but I feel like, if we have a solid idea of how the prefix suffix should work, like for example using abbreviation, using things like abbreviation for department names or geolocations, or PROJ for project, and then a name, just having some solid idea how that could work is the start. I don't know how many letters do we want to like turnkate the rest after and whatnot. So keeping that consistency from the get-go, I think that's the key here.
Okay, cool. Any other thoughts? How do you configure consistency? So, well, actually, the answer's fixed, I guess. Somebody, listen, Moraine will know the answer. Maybe not.
What's the actual question?
How can you configure consistency of your name around Microsoft 365 sites?
Okay, I thought you were actually in the middle of asking another question and then say, "Oh no!" Blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
you know, the problem there was you were thinking.
No, I was not. You can never accuse me of thinking. I mean, that just
I
does
accuse
not
you
fly.
of it. Whether
No,
it's true or not is
never.
another question.
I would
No,
never.
seriously. So, I mean, I know you know this question. So, hey, there are 3 areas that we can use to configure the naming conventions. So, what do they actually look like?
Prefix,
Prefix,
suffix,
suffix, and block
words.
words.
Yeah, well done, guys. Yeah, you know that. Of course, you know that.
I mentioned that before. Hey.
Did you? Somewhere in your
Yeah.
presentation? Okay,
I
that was
did.
too quick for me. I'm so sorry. Damn. All right, so you answered the own question before I got to the bonus question. Well, I suppose in that case, I
Like
should
plus
just give you
10 or something for that.
1
thing.
mark in that case. If you know. All right. Well, you can't argue with an answer. The guys have put their questions into the chat. That would be nice. And Moraine, only to 1 decimal place. That would be useful. Yeah,
But I
know.
want to give people a 9.659832195.
So I do have a question while he's rabbiting on a little bit. Is it, and I don't know the answer to this question, so because Kaz said it's useful to be able to say, hey, this is a HR site or a finance named team site, can you actually have a number of prefixes, or can you have certain groups that can choose certain prefixes?
Yes, I mean, depends on what you use. I don't necessarily can speak to the native environment again. Sorry, I don't want to do any advertising here, but like there are tools and features and functionality that enable you to do that.
Yeah, I think those core functionalities are actually quite useful to consider. I'd forgot about that extensibility, actually, Kaz. I have to say, I had forgot. So that's quite cool.
You could have like workflows and some sort of like Power Automate magic and say, you know, if the request comes from X, then proceed with certain set of conditions for creating these groups for ABC and whatnot. So
no, that's a very good point. I hadn't even thought about that because I was just thinking out of the box stuff. So yes, out of the box, I think you only get that 1 capability. But you're right. If you're using some kind of workflow or some kind of special core tool that would allow you to kind of, have that flexibility, you can say, hey, go to this page, put your naming convention in, and then you can decide what the prefix is based on that individual, that you can name them this way, or of course they can
I did it with a combination of like Forms and Power Automate, so you can definitely do that using just the native environment. It's just like a bit of a work, but you can do it. Yeah,
that's if you like fixing the name. Is there anybody here other than me really doesn't like naming conventions?
I love them.
Oh, my man.
I hate naming conventions. I hate it, for example, when I come into an organization and there has been a SharePoint architect before me, and the architect has made all the sites available with a certain naming convention. And he decided
that might be.
This person decided to prefix all the SharePoint sites with the letters SP _ name of the site.
That's only the URL, actually. It's not the name of the site.
So that everybody knows it's a SharePoint site.
It's not that I can mute you, I have full control over here.
No, I wouldn't. No. I would say the guy was trying, okay? Like, effort in trying is always better than nothing, in my opinion. So, and agreeing with the status quo, so...
That's very true, but I do not believe in naming conventions, not at all.
I believe in them strongly, but it's just a matter of understanding them yourself first as an IT pro, as an IT admin, sysadmin, however you consultant. I don't know. I don't care. Like, you just need to understand that perhaps the scenario and the story that you brought up is not the best example. But like, if you would understand the principle and how grateful they can be, great in the whole governance story, then I think they're a fantastic way and completely underutilized, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
I'm going to die on that hill.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. So you should too. Your convictions are absolutely correct. Morena is slightly misled in that these were about SharePoint site URL prefixes rather than the naming prefixes. But we were doing it for the same reason that you explained, Kaz, that we were able to kind of filter by prefixes on the URL so that we could identify whether a site belonged to this or belonged to a particular hub. Or everything else. So from a administration perspective and from a PowerShell perspective, we were able to kind of say any site with a URL of this, but still allowing the naming convention to be free or within a certain standard. But from the naming conventions we've talked about around the prefix and suffix and the blocked words, what kind of blocked words would we think about? You've not said anything on the subject.
Finance, leadership, management, execs, CEO, all of that stuff.
The name of the CEO.
I know you said that without moving your lips. That was brilliant.
I have like
yeah, you're right. And also things like shit, fuck, what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, but
but usually end users are going for something that is like a forbidden fruit, not because of the curse word, but they are curious what will happen if they're creating a exec team or something.
No, it is pretty good. One of the things where I did end up using prefixes was I would like to think it's changed, but I haven't checked. But it was because they were creating AD groups. There was an AD group naming convention way back in the Active Directory structure. And so because you create a new team site, you were creating an AD group, then the prefix had to be whatever they were using. And I can't remember at the time. So basically the name of the team site ended up being weird because it had these 3 digits and a dash in front of the name simply because that was building the AD. And it just shows how complex governance can actually be because it leaks into so much of the other stuff around here as well. So that's pretty cool. And look, you haven't said anything, and I just need to do a quick tot up of the scores. But nobody's given Kaz any scores yet in the chat, have they? Oh, yes, they have.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You need to read the chats.
Yeah, the red dot had gone.
No, I was trying to say something and then I realized that I was still mute. So the naming conventions, for me, it really depends. If you have a small company with maybe 3 or 4 departments, it's not a big deal to have big naming conventions. But if you have a big company where more than 10,000 users are working, it's better to have naming conventions.
I think it starts to get difficult around less than 100. Around 100 is I've observed that it's already starting to get tricky, and 100 is really not a lot if you think about it. So I would agree for 4 or 5 verbs, then it's fine. But 100 employees, then it's already difficult.
I think that with the larger numbers of people, it means that the number of team sites, for example, are going to increase. And we already know that, to be fair, if you're a member of 20 team sites, it becomes a bit of a pain finding them and looking at the amount of time you're scrolling up and down. So being able to search for the team site by knowing the prefix and potentially that it's XXHR, blah, 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 then basically allows you to sort of get a bit closer to it and not have to keep scrolling up and down or regularly hiding team sites that you're not interested in anymore.
Yeah, but that doesn't work if you're an HR person. Then you will have 20 sites or 20 teams that will all start with HR _ or whatever.
That is true too.
But
yeah, I suppose you're
yes.
right. Cool.
Anyway.
But the hiding of the teams is very nice, the function.
Yes, I created hidden 4 of Moraine's teams earlier today. It was great fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. Did you now know that you can now hide the general channel? That was so weird that you couldn't, but now you can. And I did that today.
I don't know if it's a good idea.
No, I don't either, Kaz. I just think it's always.
Oh my God, we agree.
Oh yeah. Don't tell anybody though. Let's keep it just to ourselves.
I know you can hide the general, but I will never hide the general channel.
Why not? Why are you now all three saying that's not a good idea? I would never do that. People have been asking for this for years, and now Microsoft finally did it. And the three of you are saying
some annoying MVPs. I don't know.
I guess there's not many annoying MVPs. There's just one that's with us at the moment, but that's fine. Which way is he? It's down here somewhere. Yeah. No, but I'm serious. I would never think about hiding the general tab. Kind of always wanted a place where the teams are. Actually, there is a situation where I might. If I have a team site with only external channels on it, and so everybody, then maybe I wouldn't have a general tab because it's designed specifically for sharing with, say, managed service contracts or something along those lines. So I kind of get that. I get that.
I don't get it. It's
but
I think it boils down to how end users are using it so far. So like if you don't have too much spam, if you don't have too much random stuff popping up there, that shouldn't be a problem. Like in my organization, I like the messages and posts on general, it's like not that often. It's just every few days, sometimes weeks, because it's not like a general thing that we're talking about. So it's just a matter of like how people use it. But like even think about our teams, like when we talk about the conference or whatever, it's like, why would you hide the general? Like I don't get it. It's there for a reason.
Like many things within the Microsoft 365 environment, it's all about what is required for that particular site. So that site might do, and this site might not. You will come across a reason where you find they aren't using the general site. So, but maybe that's another Copilot thing. Hey, tell me where all the channels are being used, but the general channel is not being used, and then hide it for me. Yeah, who knows? But I get it. I can see some scenarios. All right, cool. Do you want to know what the scores are? Do you want to know what the scores are?
I want to know.
Yes.
You want to know? Are we ready? I know.
What?
Guys, your presentation was superb. It really, really was very good.
Thank you. I'm shocked about this third and second, honestly.
So am I. Mine's not last.
I'm confused.
I'm so confused.
I'm so confused.
Your golf score is actually getting worse.
I've not been this confused since I was 16.
Such a long time ago. So well done, Kaz. I think you did well. Maren got, of course, all of his points from being able to choose all the different methods. So that was pretty neat, and he's not last anymore. Anouk, I think you just had too late a night last night and not enough sleep. So if in future, when we're going to sit there and do an episode of It Depends, have a good early night, and then you might not be where you're at.
Don't stay at the party until 1 o'clock or something. So
yeah, party. So is it the score that counts, really, girls and boys? We don't care, do we?
No, we just have fun.
We only care about the tokens that come with it.
Tokens, yes, so you can get some television time.
Yeah.
I think that some of the modifications for the scoring would actually be quite useful. So don't
say that when I'm winning. Like, come on.
No, Steve, 99 isn't correct for you.
Did it not? Nobody gave me any points. No. I actually think it's quite cool. So well done, Kaz. I think it was a good show. I think it's good fun. Great question. So yes, just to say that in this case it was Kaz, Maren, and Anouk, and we will be back with another episode shortly. And so, guys, say goodbye.
Ciao.
Yeah,
bye.
Cool.